Hey, welcome to another episode of Becoming a TechnoWizard. So sorry. Man, low energy again. I don't know why. Um, been much more active nowadays. I got like a whole yoga routine and all that. Um, but I don't know. Just been feel a little draining or something. And I've been stuck on my case study and my elevator pitch, trying to figure out like a good thing that just feels good to me. So I'm gonna see if I can work through it live or through this video while talking. Hopefully that will help um, kind of just work through uh, whatever I'm stuck on. So here goes. Share my screen. Do 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 do. Bam bam. There we go. All right. So as you can see, I've been working on a whole bunch of different like things here, personal statements, elevator pitches, and all that. Ugh, I don't know why I'm so stuck on this. It just for me it feels like the good, perfect, whatever elevator pitch and personal statement should talk about, um, just about you, your story, how you got there, but also which is kind of getting me, I guess, is making it relevant to the person, like the hiring managers, recruiters, and stuff like that, lead designers, whoever's going to be reading my portfolio. And that's what's been really, I think that's what's been really bothering me, getting stuck on that, because to me it's very difficult to see, how it can really stand out for them, because I'm trying to balance like the fact that I don't have too much experience in this, like as a junior designer, um, as well as trying to figure out how to stand out, because it's I could just put, oh, I know, user interviews, design thinking process, human centered design, blah 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 blah. I want to make a delightful experience, right? It's so boring to me because literally everybody does it. So I'm just like, ugh, I don't want to do that. But when you when you go down a path that's on that people hasn't have no, nobody really traveled down, that's your own path, it's extremely difficult because you have to bushwhack yourself. You have to figure out how to maneuver down that path without going to the too far off, at the same time as you know not getting stuck in the weeds and stuff like that. So that's what I'm balancing out here. So this is kind of what I figured out I will put, like, on, maybe I put this on like the front of the homepage. It's the first thing you see. TechnoWizard training with a specialty in designing empathetic tools, exploring radical ideas, and facilitating cross-functional communication. So I wanted to, because feedback with my instructors, they mentioned a lot about making sure that I'm putting down skills, putting down unique skills that I have, and because I'm new to the design, I'm kind of trying to word it as transferable skills, things that I have gotten from my last like 5 years in the professional world, and relating that to uh, being a designer. So that's what I'm trying to figure out here. I'm trying to figure out what skills really matter here, and it's been a little bit difficult. Um, that's why I wanted to initially do my kind of whole website as a UX design test. I can go ask people, um, but it's difficult to do that now because I'm spending so much time just going through these assignments and everything like that, and just trying to figure out this stuff. But I'm definitely going to do a whole lot of that as soon as I get my website up, or maybe just a passable personal statement, elevator pitch. Maybe I'll just reach out to some people and see what they think, because I'm just beating my head against a wall, it feels like. But anyways, my personal statement. This is probably going to be on my about page. So this one is okay. I think my instructor liked this one a little bit more, but I personally like this one more, um, because it's more personal. It feels more warm to me. It feels more, engaging and stuff like that. But I'll read both. So let's see. I'm obsessed with inventing scalable technology that empowers more people to live fulfilling lives. I have a bit of experience with coding, info security, tech support, project management, and operations. I loop all of these into my UX design practices to balance cross functional needs with the hopes and dreams of everyday people. So, this keen interest stems from a lifelong dream to redesign the future. Since third grade, I wanted to invent hover cars, which gave me an early appreciation for the design thinking process. I've also read thousands of fantasy and science fiction books, fueling my imagination even further. I want to bring together my experiences from human resources applications to virtual reality arcades. Wow, that's really loud. Um, I want to apply atomic design and human focused gamification to create better products. This should be linked. I'll link that to Yukijajo. Yeah. To create better products, I want to use my communication skills to bring together businesses or business needs with customer needs. I want to do all of this at a small to mid-sized company with an outsized positive impact on a team of wonderful people excited to learn and teach. Mr. Duck. Since third grade, I wanted to invent hover cars. I researched everything from mechanical engineering to biomimetics in this endeavor. I listened to the problems people had with modern day vehicles and dreams that they had of the future. I iterated on my concepts time and again as I gained more and more insights. At the same time, I read thousands of fantasy and science fiction books, fueling my imagination beyond the miasma of depression and poverty that mired my reality. From all of this, alongside some deeper quirk in my soul, an inexhaustible ambition has brightened my path forward. That links to my book. Now, I seek to wield this great power I have gained as a designer to help solve the world's biggest problems with elegant, sufficiently advanced technology, indistinguishable from magic. As a product designer, I want to balance the needs of ambitious businesses with the needs of everyday people and the equilibrium of the environment. I want to inspire, motivate, and empower people to embrace their own unique creativity. I have worked in sales, information security, data science-based HR technology, and now virtual reality. I have led, recruited, or trained dozens of people across three organizations as a student co-chairman, project manager, and operations manager. I have tinkered with game design, web development, podcasts, and writing. Now it's high time to bring it all together. I want to massively change the world for the better with magical technology and ambitious empathy. If you are the same or even appreciate the idea, I'd love to speak with you. So yeah, it's just so much better, I think. I think it kind of has all those little elements into it. I'm probably going to end up using that one. Um, yeah, especially because it's going to go in the about page. So people have to click over there and they'll see all this and they'll like if people, I think the people who will click onto that says about, they're there to read, a story. So it feels better to me to do that than, kind of do a more traditional thing. And my instructor is super awesome and super gives always really good feedback, but he does have a more conservative approach, to design, and specifically to like building your brand. When I asked my career coach, she mentioned how it's very she really likes how I have like this unique personality, unique kind of branding about myself. It's both more personal and more different, So I think it's a good thing to have like this more personal touch to it, because it just speaks to me. It speaks to me. So that's what I want to do there. So these are my different elevator pitches. I'm liking. I was liking this one, but I don't think it fits very well into what I want this elevator pitch to be used for. Because I want this to be the thing that I cut down for resumes, or I say for interviews, or I'm going to put on my LinkedIn page. And my career coach showed me that LinkedIn is going to show you like the first 3 lines, 3 to 4 lines about this much. So I need to make sure my elevator pitch tells all the information I need, which is a little bit about me, um, my skills, and how I can help the company. You know, um, So that's what's been really killing me on this freaking elevator pitch, because I know how I can help the company, but I'm not sure how to show that in a way that is me, that is unique, that is, ambitious, that calls to my personal brand, to what I feel like my personal brand is, which is, emergent technology and magic, that type of designing with a magical experience, not just a delightful experience like everybody else does. Um, and furthermore, I just don't have a huge amount of experience as a designer, once again. So I want to make sure I draw out my transferable skills throughout my life experience, which has been my obsession with freaking hover cars. I know that plays a huge part into where I find a lot of my skills, and my what my value is, as well as like reading thousands of books. I know that plays a huge part into it, and my breadth of experience, and even my depth of experience to an extent, in these different areas. Like I've worked in like big companies, small companies. I mean, usually most of it for the last like 4 years, 4 or 5 years, no, 4 years. Yeah, 4 years. It's been small companies, like super, like below 10 people. So that's a big niche, very small niche. I'm at, but I do think there's a lot of value there. So my issue is trying to figure out how to show that value. So yeah, I think I'm liking this one so far. So I wanted to invent hover cars, and so tried to teach myself aeronautics and engineering, then 3D modeling and programming. I worked in sales, cybersecurity, and project management, but it was with virtual reality in 2015 that I finally found my calling. Now I seek to use UX design to make emerging technology more inclusive, empowering, and magical. So I do feel like it's a little bit too much about me, which is weird because, on LinkedIn and stuff like that, it says about, it's about you, but people want to see what value you will have for their company, and you don't want them to guess that. You don't want them to have to struggle to find where your value is. Even if they like you, you have to make it easy for them to see, where you fit in their organization and how you will benefit them, how you will benefit their business. That's what I'm trying to portray here. So let me write that down. I know hover cars. Uh, Organization. I'm gonna list these out. So obsession with hover cars. All right, like my first love. And the reason why this makes me valuable is because shows my ability to do research. Um, I want to say my like passion for technology. Um, I don't know. It's kind of feels like a little touchy feely. Um, I mean, I think emotional intelligence and just passion plays a huge part in your business. But I do know that unfortunately, a lot of businesses kind of see that as touchy feely. They don't see that as valuable, even though it is valuable. So that's what I'm worried about. But I should write it down anyways, because I'm. That's another thing too. Like I'm looking for companies. I don't want to work for a company that feels that doesn't value these things. That's my other thing though. Um, like if a company sees passion and uniqueness and creativity as touchy feely or as like not valuable, I'm like, do I really want to work for them? And I don't think so. I don't think so. But at the same time, can I be picky? I'm trying to get into this field. Trying to make money here. I'm trying to, show my value as quickly and as efficiently as I can. So can I really be that picky? So much to balance. But I'm gonna write it down anyways. Let's see. Passion for technology, interest, and I want to say STEM, but it's not just STEM, but interest in like deep knowledge. Because like I really went hard trying to learn how to invent hover cars. Like, you know, studying mechanical engineering. Like I talked about in like I think the first video, how I learned about the Bernoulli principle. Like who knows about the Bernoulli principle in freaking middle school and in early high school? especially in the school where I came from, where there is no like engineering program, there is no robotics program or anything like that. Um, so and whenever I look back at that, I'm just like, man, I'm such a nerd. Like I would literally pick up a book on electromagnetics and be like, "Ooh, let me, see how this works." And I wouldn't stop there. I would go and try to research, how does electromagnetics work? Like what makes magnets magnetic? I'll look at the polarity of the cells of of the freaking electrons in the atoms and stuff like that. And they're like, "Oh, that's how magnetics work and stuff like that." I'm like, "Oh gosh, such a freaking nerd." But I think that is a huge value add too, because in my experience, like especially when I've been hiring people for the arcade or even for before in the HR technology thing, I'm looking for people who are willing to put in the work to really research how something works. Like if we're working with new technology, like first one was we was trying to build a data science um, applicant tracking system, and that went deep into psychology and went deep into data science in terms of uh, not exactly artificial intelligence, but more so how to use graph databases such as Facebook to extract that data in an empathetic, in a ethical way, and how to. So you had to go deep into extracting data from somebody's social media profile at the same time as keeping your ethical standpoints there. So we would only extract data that people consented. So we would tell them everything that their social media would give, and we would show them the results of what we did, so they can choose to share that with the employer, to share that, and we would still anonymize that even after getting consent. So in order for us to like develop this platform, we had to really go deep into psychology. We had to go deep into data science. We had to go deep into um, just all of that stuff, right? And when I was looking for people to put on our team, I had to look for. I wasn't trying to get just another intern, just because they went to Ivy League school, just because they had a lot of technical knowledge. I wanted to know if they really cared about diving deep into those murky depths of what makes a data science project really really impactful. So same thing for virtual reality too. Like, when we hire people, we're looking for people who are really interested in virtual reality, who have went through the trouble, because it is a lot of trouble. Went through the trouble of trying to find a headset. If they couldn't afford it, like I couldn't afford it, maybe they went to a mall and put on the headset and played it. Maybe they went to a meetup. Maybe they even came to our arcade for a event that we put on and stuff like that. So yeah, that's why I think this is interesting, because even though I'm not like a big recruiter, I'm not like a senior person per se, but I have hired people, and I've interviewed hiring managers, I've interviewed recruiters, and man, I just need to listen to myself. Like, what the hell? See, this is why I did this. This is why it's good to talk, because when I go through this in my head, it's just a lot of like self critique, self doubt. But when I look back at like the stuff I know, I'm like, why am I questioning myself? Of course, put this stuff on there. Why am I? Ugh. But yeah, like I literally interviewed, I don't know, like a couple dozen hiring managers and recruiters and everything in between. Like uh shoot, I forgot a lot of the titles now, because there's a lot of nuance in that in HR, but a lot of HR people, right? And I know that this is what they're looking for. So I don't know why I keep doubting myself. Kind of sound crazy now, but anyways, yeah. Interest in I know I could word that differently, but I'm just gonna keep it simple for now. Uh, and let's say experience with Emerging technology. There's a lot in that term, social data, and to me that is referring to, because once again, it was cutting edge technology at the time when we started trying to make applicant tracking and a smart applicant tracking system. So a lot of people have, when you put in your resume to an applicant tracking system, we know it's a dark hole, it's a black hole. Like you put it in there, you have no idea when it's going to come out, if they even got anything like that. So our tracking system, we were trying to create something that instead of putting a resume, or in addition to putting a resume, it would look at your social media data and extract, your soft skills, extract your personality, stuff like that. And we were using like the most like scientifically proven, information for that. So it wasn't just, you couldn't game it, right? I'm telling you, we went deep into how social data works and why it's valuable. And I still think it's a really good product because I still haven't seen anything out like it. At least not too much out. Like there's something that's getting close to it, but it was some good stuff. But anyways, yeah, social data, because it goes into connecting one's psychology, one's personality, like your big five personality, not that Myers-Briggs stuff, but the big five personality, with like the types of things that you interact with on your social media profiles. And the reason why it was accurate, like I think Cambridge and some other schools, they did multiple researches with thousands of people, and they showed that this data, your social media data, was more accurate than even your spouses. Like it was like your coworkers, your friends, your spouses, and then it was social media data. All right, that was like 2 times as accurate than just your spouse in terms of predicting your personality, predicting your soft skills and stuff like that. So that's why we started using that, and that's why I call it emergent technology. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much the main things I used. I could go into depth with this later, like A-frame, 3JS, JavaScript, jQuery, using jQuery in a 3D landscape, in a canvas, JavaScript based canvas. Yeah. So what's the skills? What's the value in knowing experience with emerging technology? I would say, I mean, just really knowledge of that technology. I guess ability to learn. Yeah. There's something else I'm missing there too. Um, I mean, under the applications, I'm kind of covering things like business needs, how to figure out, how to apply that technology to your business, and what customers need for it, how to market it. So that can all be included there. Um, what else makes me valuable to an organization? I would say, oh yeah, I said reading books, imagination, and creativity. think that's a big thing when it comes to especially working with technology companies or any company is looking to innovate. I guess you can even put that as just innovative thinking. And that's really what it comes down to. I guess you can also mention things like divergent concepts, specifically as a designer. I think that's the main things right there. Oh, communication or storytelling. Like I don't consider myself a writer, but I do know that I have writing skills simply because I've just read so much that it's like I tend to think in terms of interesting ways to word things and just like stories. Like I don't necessarily call myself a storyteller, but I know I can be good at storytelling if I get, if I really think about it. Because I just when you read so much, that those um those words, those stories just get kind of deep in steeped inside of you. And I haven't really studied it too much. Um, but I have recently started, going into that, and that helped me like going into what makes a good story, how to write a story, uh, how to the heroic journey, stuff like that. So actually studying that stuff has really allowed me to empathize, not empathize, has allowed me to strengthen and emphasize all the things that I've read and turning it in, helps me to turn it into a actual skill. So I think that's pretty cool. That's interesting as well. Might be something else there, but I'll stick with that. Um, management. So it gives me leadership skills, facilitation. Like I know I'm pretty comfortable leading meetings, workshops, um, even doing speeches and stuff like that. Even though I get super nervous every single time for like anytime I have a meeting, anytime I have to talk to somebody, anytime I have to talk to a lot of people, I get super nervous. But I enjoy the process of preparing for it. And once I start doing it, I enjoy the process of doing it. I enjoy the process of seeing people get excited and inspired and motivated about whatever I'm talking about and encouraging them to, start working on it. Like I really love freaking getting people to action. Like that is like magic. That's like my definition of magic right there is allowing people to is doing whatever I can to get people to action. So if that means going in a meeting and getting, stakeholder buy-in and, getting these different people to agree on a decision or on a path to go or, just delivering, giving some deliverables and stuff like that. I really love that because once you have that alignment, then people can go out of that meeting, out of that workshop, out of that um, event, whatever it is, with a goal in mind and the will to actually accomplish something, and that's like magic right there. You went in with nothing. You went in with like these kind of concepts, and you came out with like a firm resolve. You came out with a product. You came out with the idea that you're going to act on. So I do love that. So management in terms of project management, operations. Um, what else I've done? Well, really those two, project and product management, but those are kind of combined. I know I'm not super good at decision making, but I think I have kind of learned some tricks along the way. Like I learned how to prioritize. I've learned how to um, take risks, take reasonable risks. Like you're not always gonna know what to do. Oftentimes you don't, but it's usually pretty important. It's usually better to make a decision earlier rather than later, because you can always course correct. You can always learn from your mistakes. You can always adjust and pivot and all this stuff after the fact. But if you don't, if you spend a lot of time trying to make a decision, then you're just wasting time. Then you never learned the alternatives. You never learned um you never really learned anything. You just kind of wasted time. The time, simple as that. Like it becomes a problem of missing opportunities, right? People think that if you make a decision too early, you might miss the opportunity later. But oftentimes it's because you made the decision too late that you missed an opportunity. If you had made a decision earlier, you might have, there's a, the SWOT analysis and all that. Like you have to look at the opportunity cost, right? Like you might miss that opportunity, but you might, because you acted so fast, you can gain an opportunity further down the line. But if you had waited, not only did you miss both of those opportunities, like the earlier one, and maybe you waited too long for the late one, um, but now that you don't even know what you missed or why you missed it, that you're gonna end up doing like the same thing later. Like you're gonna say, "Oh, we missed the opportunity. We should have spent more time, you know, learning more. We should have, you know, you should have researched more. We should have did this more. We should have, And then the next time around, you get even more paralyzed because you made a mistake last time, and because you don't have that culture of course correcting and pivoting and stuff like that, then you become more paralyzed. And so each time that you have to make an important decision, you take too long, or yeah, you just don't do it. And that's one thing that's really kind of frustrating about like where I am today. Um, and I've talked about this, with my boss, with my current boss and stuff like that. And I understand why. Like we have super limited resources and everything like that. And we can't afford to make mistakes. At least that's the um, current idea of that, which I definitely understand. And they spent like their personal money in there. They do have investments, but it's or an investment, but it's still most of their personal money and stuff like that. So it's very hard to not be risk averse. It's very hard to be risky when you have so much riding on the line and stuff like that. And I can't blame them for that. Like, but me, I think I can personally grow more, if I'm working with people who are willing to make those mistakes, who are able to make those mistakes, who are able to risk things, because that would teach me more about, how to make these decisions. Like this is my theory. I may be wrong, but that's what I'm talking about. Like I would rather me personally be wrong and me learn from that than, be stuck in a place where I can't really make any decisions. Um, so I think that's why decision making is a big thing, especially like just doing it fast. So that's why I want to work for a tech company specifically or a smaller business specifically, for a place that is not too small, but is used to, like, it's profitable. So they know that, like, they've had a history of making a lot of decisions, making a lot of pivots and stuff like that. That would teach me a lot more about how to make my own. Like when it comes to, like, I really want to make my own company, but I know there's a lot to learn, and I simply don't have that quite frankly that privilege to start a company and go out and try to do everything like that. Like folks be struggling, So I've made a lot of I've already made a lot of risks. I already maybe made a lot of mistakes where I've come in my path. I worked for free for a long time, or for super cheap and stuff like that, cheaper than I probably should have, and that has affected where my family ended up. And I know that if I made different decisions, I probably would have been in a different spot financially. Um, but I don't regret it because I made those decisions. You know, that's what I'm talking about. Like I would rather make decisions and make a mistake than not. And I made my decisions. You know, I made my mistakes, and I just want to keep learning. I want to keep figuring out how to make better decisions and stuff like that. So yeah, ended up turning that into a whole thing. But yeah, decision making, I think that's super important. Prioritization. Um, I want to say pivoting, maybe. You know, it's kind of related. OKR is objective key results. Usually, I think it started with Google. Or no, I think it may have been somebody else that started it, but Google's like has been pushing it. But objective key results is pretty cool, like a performance evaluation type of thing. So you set your quarterly objectives, and then you set the key results, like the things that like the 3 to 5 things that will accomplish that main objective in the next few months. Um, then you measure your metrics along the way. So that gives you a good idea of where to go and how you're going. So luckily, I haven't really worked for a company that has only done like an annual performance review. They kind of sort of done that at my current company, like when we first started, but it was a small company, so it wasn't super serious. Um, but yeah, performance like annual performance reviews are such a mess because you set a goal like in the beginning of the year, right? And it doesn't really change too much with on the during the course of that year. And there's so many things that changes during the course of that year that it's kind of ridiculous. So not only did your goals not change according to the environment, but also you most likely didn't measure, where you were going. You most likely also didn't understand like your course. You weren't able to course correct on the way there. So objective key results not only is your shorter time spans, but it allows you to really think about setting a measurable goal, like something that really matters, something that has a big impact, and then also setting realistic ways to get there. So you're thinking about how you're going to accomplish this 3 months in advance, and so now when you're doing that next 3 months, you're going to be thinking about it's gonna make it much easier to be effective and impactful on a daily basis. Because every day you can ask yourself, is this key result? Is this key result? This feeding that objective. You can ask yourself these direct questions, and you can make sure that you're on that path forward. Um, so yeah, I think that's pretty important. Definitely something I really like. I think that's my main things right there. Probably go into other things like just working at a small company. Yeah, I might list that. Go ahead and work. Maybe that should be the skill lean methodologies. I want to say agile too, but it wasn't like when you work at a small team with like 5 to 10 people on there, you're not really, at least at the ones that I worked at, we didn't really stick too hard to like the Scrum Masters or the agile methodology stuff. I mean, we use elements of that, but I'm not sure if I could list that as a skill per se. Maybe not even lean methodology because we were lean. We did have like very limited resources and time and all that stuff, but we didn't like follow the book, right? So uh, I list it anyways because I can still talk about like um yeah, I just still talk about like what it's like working at a small company and the different hats I had on, how we made decisions, how we navigated our competition, our limited resources, all that stuff. And I think that does play in a lot to these ideas. So it is what it is. So yeah. think that's what makes me valuable. So now I want to turn this into an elevator pitch. Um, how much time am I at? Where am I at? Does not say. I feel like this is going on really long. I should probably stop here, actually. Probably do another video tomorrow with this. I'm still going to be working on this, but I mean, it doesn't matter. Nobody really watched this. Maybe Zach. Thanks for watching, Zach. If you are, um, and this is helping me, so forget it. Whatever. If it's 2 hours long, it's 2 hours long. My battery's okay. Okay, so I think these are the things that will help me stand out. So now I want to turn this to an elevator pitch. I need to tell a story around these things. I should probably prioritize, right? Like I said here, it's probably prioritize the most important ones. So I need to pick ones that number one relate to me being a product designer or UX designer. Number two, relate to what I want to do, which is immersive experience design. Like I want to work in that field of emerging technology. Could be other emerging technology, but specifically that one would be really awesome. And number three, I need to tell a story about myself too. So I can't just list a bunch of things. It's gonna be boring. I want to tell a story. So it's gonna make it more difficult, but it's gonna be more engaging. So let's see. I think as a UX designer, oh, actually, let's make it like a little Venn diagram. What makes a valuable UX or product designer? So I think from what I remember from all my talks with instructors and career coach and Googling, uh, good UX product designer is, of course, human user centered. Know the needs of the user. Empathy. I don't like the term user. I don't think any respectable UX designer really does, even though it's in our name. Because user is so impersonal. You want to think about the human, the person, the people. You know, you're dealing with people that just like you. They just are consumers of this product that you're creating. But you don't want to necessarily call them consumers either, because not only is that kind of confusing in terms of the market, because you have like consumer facing products versus enterprise facing products, even though both of them are technically consumers or literally consumers. Well, not literally, they're not actually eating your stuff, but they're using your product. But what you get what I'm saying. Um, yeah, I think those are the three main things of that. And then there's also, as a product designer, business needs. So that's financial upside. I know there's a better term for that. I don't know. I'm just put profitability. Expect resource constraints. Technical constraints. Let's rather put technical feasibility. I want to also include collaboration with other teams, but I wonder if that should be in a different kind of point altogether, like communication or something. Got to spell collaboration wrong. Sheesh. Should that be its own point? Yeah, because you can list out, um, I want to say cross-functional communication, but I just use communication in there. Ugh. Whatever. Just put it anyways. This is just for me. Also want to put, presenting deliverables, getting stakeholder buy-in. So these are the terms I learned, that my first freaking job, my first serious job at Mannheim. It was a Fortune 500 company, and my boss, was also sort of a mentor. He wasn't officially a mentor because he already had a mentee. He didn't like having multiple mentees because he really likes to focus. He's such a good person, man. But he taught me a lot about these types of communications and stuff like that. I was working as like security and information security risk analysis. So I will look at the permissions people had, what they had access to in the organization, and determine do they really need all that access or not. So a couple of things he had me do is set up presentations for or slide decks for all the stakeholders, which are your decision makers and stuff like that, or just really people who just had a stake in the project, people who had some level of responsibility in that project. So he had me create a lot of material for those slide decks. So it could be slides, which talking about have these bullet points, show the results, show give guidance on what you think, what the path you think is, like what you think we should do, rather than just don't just you can't just when you make a presentation for or slide deck for stakeholders, you can't just put um, these are the things we did. You gotta you gotta give some direction. You gotta kind of just like design on a website. You can't just put a bunch of information on there. You gotta kind of direct people to where to go. You gotta tell them what you want them to do, and they appreciate this. It's not a form of manipulation. It's not a form of of assumption or anything like that. It's just the fact that you did your work, and part of that, the final part of that work, is giving your opinions on what the decision should be. Because that way, once you present like what you think the business should do, then they can say, oh, this is, maybe we should consider this. And if you don't put that, if you just put oh, we did all this work, right, and you don't put the outcomes, you don't put the if you don't just tell them what you think we should do, then they have to guess what that means. So you would give them a whole bunch of information, for instance, for the security thing, they would we would be in conversations with a bunch of teams working on different projects. So part of the security thing is saying, hey, we might need better authorization portal. You might need to look at these specific people's permission levels. We might want to take out the super admin privilege on this platform, stuff like that. We would give them these things. If we don't, then we would just say, we would have it would be it would feel like very buzzwordy. Like we would just be talking about these are the information security guidelines on on this sort of thing, blah 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 blah, right? Nobody's going to read all that, first of all. Nobody cares, unfortunately. Second of all, so number three, um, nobody's gonna. It's just like design. It's crazy how it connects. It's like don't make people think, right? Don't make me think. When you're making a designer for somebody, you have to tell them what to do because otherwise they have to spend a whole bunch of energy trying to figure out what to do, what you want them to do, because they are not you, right? They are not the they might be stakeholders, they might even be senior leveled in your very same functional area, but they weren't ahead. They didn't do your work, right? They didn't do the research that you did. They didn't uh, write the code that you did, or to look at the design that you did. You know, they didn't do all that. Their job is to make the right decision, right? They're like over all these projects. They have to make sure these projects are going the right way, on time. You know, um, under the right finances. You know, the budget. Sheesh. So yeah, that's their job, right? They have all these other duties. So if you come in with just like talking about the work that you did and not actually giving them direction on what you think should be done next, then they have to guess. And they're most likely going to guess wrong. They're not going to guess, or at least they're not going to guess what you did, right? So now if they guess something different than what you did, then you're going to be like, why didn't they do this? That's because you didn't tell them to do this, right? If you, so it's very interesting. Like now that I think about it, I'm viewing everything through a design lens now. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. If I'm a if I'm a hammer looking for nails, or if I'm just drawing connections through all these different experiences. Hopefully, it's the latter. But yeah, it's very very interesting. I should write that down somewhere. Um, I don't know what to call that though. Like everything is design. I have to think about that. I'm gonna look it back at this video and try to figure out what that is in terms of a skill set. Like, sheesh, what transferable skills? Yeah, I guess. Um, cross functional. I don't know. I know that's a skill though because man, that's like such a connection right there. My brains are right. My brain, my synapses are going crazy here. But anyways, whew, yeah, I think that's why it's important to have slide decks and all this presenting things. Blah blah blah. Man, if only I can distill all this stuff, this whole video into like a elevator pitch. But it's good. I'm gonna wash this back and really try to figure out what I'm talking about here. And yeah. Hmm. Whatever. I'm just gonna pick designs and decisions. Or you just put decision making. I mean, I already have that above, but well, I'll just put design decision. Blah 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 blah. Blah. Okay. 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 I know these things, but for some reason it's just leaving my mind, so I'm gonna Google it again. Intuitive is such a leading word. It's not a good word. And I learned that unfortunately from my instructor because I used that word as like we make intuitive design. He's like, what does that mean? Right? What about it makes it intuitive? And intuitive is kind of subjective in some ways because to some people something might be intuitive. It might be like they can do it without thinking, but to other people it's not. Like you can have the exact same design, but for a different audience, it's completely out of the zone. What is that? Is that a helicopter or something? I don't know if y'all hear that, but it's extremely loud. Sounds like a cross between a jet and a helicopter. It's really strange. I don't see it. I hope y'all don't hear that. But I hear it, so it's very hard to hear myself right now. Might have to pause this. Aesthetics, business goal oriented, persuasion abilities. Yeah. There we go. I mean, it's sort of related to everything I was talking about here. Getting stakeholder buy-in. It's pretty much persuasion. Got to be persuasive. What you're talking about, like when you're designing things, you're just persuading people to take your course of action. And when you're presenting that design, you're persuading people to believe that it is a good design, that you're just not making the stuff up, right? Oh, Instacart. Let me look at that. I think they have a good design team, I heard. Experience strategy. Oh, I think I have that skill. I don't know why I keep going that way. It's the wrong way. Information architecture, yeah, interaction design. Oh, excuse me. Usability, consistency, credibility, desirability. Yeah. Design skills, basically. Interaction design. Visual design. Sheesh. I have to go inside. The mosquitoes coming out. Empathy, yeah. Nice sense of aesthetics. Understand the business goals. Goal-oriented, precision abilities. Coding. Yeah. Analytics. I'm actually gonna put that in strategy. Analytics. Measurement. Um. think that's about it. Let's see what this other stuff says. Completely skipped over that. Impact. Craft expertise. Collaboration. Leadership. Design citizenship. Oh, that's interesting. I like that. I like this. I mean, I like the other thing too, but this, it really puts these in good buckets. So impact, that's kind of like your strategy and all that other stuff, measurement. Yeah, ability to just execute. And then craft expertise, that's your actual design work. So using the tools, yeah, ability to really connect with users, synthesize data, design process, actually comfortable designing, you know, actually using like Figma, Sketch, and all this other stuff. Yeah, actually ensuring it actually solves a problem. And in collaboration is working with people. Leadership is getting buy-in and leadership folks. Take initiative, solve problems. Thought leadership. Builds consensus. Yeah. Resilient. Obstacles, yeah. Motivates others. Mentors others. Design leadership, that's really interesting to me, but I think it makes sense. Like there's parts of design that's not like super fun or interesting, but you got to do them anyways. Um, Especially I can see this being really important for a bigger organization or just a decent sized organization that has like their design tools, design system. Like this can be really in depth when you're making like UI kits and brand boards and all this other stuff, and you need to keep that updated, you know, as you go. And somebody has to do it. So the fact that this is a skill is pretty good like that. Might reword these here, but I think I'll stick with that for now. So yeah, when you for companies bring these together, right? Whew. I think the most important thing to point out here is um, it's always tricky here actually. It's like do you focus on the hard skills, the soft skills, or stuff like that? Because the hard skills can always be taught, but at the same time, you want to show that you do have the hard skills. So probably soft skills, something like a soft skill, I think is more important though. Like when a person is looking through their hiring manager, they're going to be looking at, hey, can I see this person at my job? Can I see this person at my team or my company? Can I see them pushing the company forward and stuff like that? So I think some type of strong soft skill, right, will do really good for that. Instantly draw people's attention as soon as they see, you know, my thing, my skills or my elevator pitch, right? What's the first thing I want to add? I want to put down. Whew. See, that's a little bit difficult because I want to say something like leadership, right? Just because in my experience, I have pretty good technical skills, but my skills tend to stand out the most when I'm in a leadership position. Um, Again, I understand that I'm not a senior designer, so I don't know if I want to lead with that. Probably not. Um, yeah, so another thing would be, I want to say communication. It's unique. I don't think it's something that a lot of people will list first, but it's very important. And I think a lot of hiring managers know that it's important. A lot of designers know that it's important, at least the people in the industry, right? I think that separates people who is not in the industry who it is, because when you see who at boot camps or just new junior designers, they're always talking about oh, I learned Figma, I use Sketch, I can do this, that, and the other, these are my projects, right? But nobody's ever talking about their communication skills, their ability to present, their ability to get buy-in, do talk to stakeholders, talk to your team, do all this stuff. And that's pretty much the glue of what makes a really good designer at a company, I think. Especially from what I've seen, looked at people like day in the life of a designer, and a lot of them talking about, hey, 50 to 70% of my day is meetings. I think I want to lead with that. So ability to, did I even list my stuff? Kind of listed it here. Um, I didn't even list my freaking communication skills. Oops. I was just talking about about that the whole time. So I mean, I don't know why I'm going super detailed, because this is not what I'm going to write. Like, this is what I'm going to pull from my real elevator speech. I don't know if I should really try to zush it up, because basically, as communication and collaboration, I'm thinking, you know, um, presenting to stakeholders. I'm thinking, um, I want to say making design decisions, but that's more of a leadership type of thing. Um, I love this freaking. I don't know if it's exactly a buzzword, but it's cross-functional communication, right? Like that means I can talk to engineers, I can talk to marketers, I can talk to sales, I can talk to um, customer success or customer support. Jeez, because I've been in a lot of similar positions. I've been in a lot of these positions, so I think yeah, I think that's a big thing, especially as a designer, because you want to bring these people in to the design process. You don't want to be in the ivory tower of like designing things and coming down like, hey, do this. You know, you want to make sure that you're communicating with people, make sure that everybody understands why you're designing the thing that you are, and what you're designing, and feeling like they're involved in the process, taking their considerations, taking their feedback, taking their ideas and stuff like that, and bringing that all into the, the design. So yeah, um, present to stakeholders, cross-functional communication, facilitating. Presentations and workshops. Already said presentation, I'll say meetings. Yeah, I think that's some good stuff to start there. So the next thing, I want to list only 3, right? Just 3 things, because elevator speech is going to be something short. About 3 lines. I don't know how many words that is, but it's not a lot. Like maybe 1 or 2 or 2 or 3 sentences. About 30 to 60 seconds. So it has to be short. So I'm only going to list 3. So communication, collaboration. First one. Then I want to say leadership. I keep wanting to put this in because I do want to get in there as a product designer, not just a UX designer. Even though it's kind of it's weird. At some organizations, people call UX designers product designers, and at some other organizations, a product designer is like a really senior position. It's like 10 years, 15 years experience. But years of experience is kind of has been known to be very irrelevant. It's more about like, can you execute? Like, can you accomplish this thing? And I think I can, as long as I have like a little bit of time to understand the team, as long as I have a little bit of time to understand the craft and time to understand the business. I think I can warm up to that sort of position in a relatively short amount of time, like six months to a year. I feel like I can go from, you know, entry level designer to a product designer. Um, Maybe not a senior product designer, but I think I can, go into that thing. So that's why I do want to mention this skill of leadership, because yeah, that's why I just see myself getting into. Um, I'm worried. I'm not sure if that's like presumptuous, um, or arrogant or something like that. I hope not. Um, I just, these last 4 years, man, every single time. Well, it's only been 2 companies, so what is that really a pattern? But I'm just saying, like, I started in there, and it's not just that. No, it's not that shit either, because like, um, at Europe, it's not really a job per se, but it was professional kind of thing there. At school, you know, at home, freaking being an elder brother, bigger brother. Uh, I've always, kind of gravitated into that sort of position. Even like when I'm playing games, like I'm not usually not like the best shooter or anything like that. I'm playing something like Apex, but I'm always like giving strategy. I'm like, all right, let's do this, go this way, do that, and then get us a dub that way. So I don't know, man. I feel like that's something I should stop downing myself. I'm gonna go ahead and put that down. I'm gonna zish it up, later in my zish. I'm gonna zish it up later in my elevator page. I'm not gonna call it leadership because it's boring. Gonna find a spicier way to say it, but So yeah, we to make design just decision making. Um, persuasion, prioritization, comfortable talking with C-suite executives. I'm not sure if that's really important, but I have. Yeah, I think it is because in my experience, once again, limited as it is, there's a lot of people who are kind of scared to just talk to like, the C-suite, like chief executive, chief technology, chief, all these people. Um, and in my experience, at least the good ones. The good ones. Those are the type of people who really want feedback, who really want direct, like, tell me what to do, because they are the leader and they have so much responsibility. They don't want to have to make decisions that they feel under resourced, like they don't have enough knowledge on. Like if you give them a suggestion if you're confident with that suggestion, then give them it. Like, and if it goes right, then you made that decision. But if it goes wrong, then you got to own up to it. You know more than that executive, and to give them, like, to kind of force them to make that to take all the responsibility for that is unrealistic, and it's kind of mean. Like, yeah. So I think that's important. So okay. Boom, 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 damn, ding. Making all these noises. Why? I don't know. Having fun though. This is cool. I hope y'all having fun. If you're still watching this, I don't know who's possibly watching this like 2 hour long podcast of me, or not even podcast. I should make this a podcast. You won't be able to see what I'm writing, but I think that's really funny. But this 2 hour long video of me just typing on a document, quality, quality content, scintillating, action packed. Let's get it. Okay. What was I? Yeah, I think that's the main stuff. Missing anything here? Oh yeah. Strategy. Yeah, strategic goal setting. Impact measurement. Again, I'll word that way better, but I just want to get down the important stuff right there. Okay, and finally, the last one is, of course, the craft. Something around the craft, right? Craft, technical skills, design ability, technical design, craftsmanship. Yes, have the craftsmanship. I'm having too much fun with this. Okay, so this is where I put in all the little skills I got, I picked up. So Figma, Sketch, Principle, Vision, Miro, Mural, user research, user interviews, surveys, freaking synthesis. Spelled that wrong. Prototyping, wireframing. That's kind of redundant. That's what you do in those tools there, but whatever. You get what I mean. Just want to put all the little buzzwords here. This is what's going to pick up on Google and stuff like that. Usability testing. I mean, I can't even go further, like ethnographic research, contextual inquiries, whatever. But I think that's good right there. I think that's the main stuff. All right, so now I have these key skills, priority skills. Let me call that key skills. I like that better. Key skills. Now, how do I turn this into elevator speech? Ooh. I'm gonna probably do something boring first, right? Just listing out, hey, I am a communicative leadership technical craftsman. And then I can turn that into a story and craft it into a story. Let's see. I really should probably stop this video here, but I'm telling you, I'm having fun here. I guess if push comes to shove, I can make this into like 2 or 3 videos, a recent lesson in the next couple of days, but we'll see where it goes. I probably won't do that. I keep looking at this camera. at myself in the camera. I'm thinking I'm looking at somebody else. I need to look at the camera, not my view screen. Let me put that in the middle. I'm mad. I'm like just thinking about this 2 hours into the video, but whatever. Okay. So, sure, I'm gonna make it so boring. I'm gonna do in third person. That's what all the conservative traditional stuff is, right? Third person. Um, it's not very personable. That's why I don't like it. But it is what it is. It seems so like people talk about other stuff about like being presumptuous, but third person seems presumptuous to me. It's like seems like, oh, I am oh, that person is blah 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 blah. Like you're talking about yourself. Like you did this yourself. Nobody else wrote this for you. You wrote this about yourself. This seems so weird to talk in third person, but it is what it is. I guess people see it as I wonder why people see it as more professional. It's because when you say I and things like that, it seems like you're talking about yourself, like self-aggrandizing maybe. But third person seems more self-aggrandizing because you wrote it in third person. I don't know. Maybe I do need to stop this video. I'm just going off the rails now. Ooh. Okay. Why did I do that? It was weird. A mosquito. Um. Elijah has extolled. That's not the word I'm looking for. Exonerated. I don't think that's the word I'm looking for. What is the word I'm looking for here? Um, I don't know what I'm looking for here, but whatever. That's too long. Already too long. How long does it take to say this? Um, September. Okay. I'm not gonna say this one. I'm gonna say this one. Oh, wait, no. This one? Yeah. Okay. And go. No. Oh, it's one of those. Let me do a stopwatch. Okay. All right. What? I wanted to invent hover cars and so tried to teach myself aeronautics and engineering, then 3D modeling and programming. I worked in sales, cybersecurity, and project management, but it was with virtual reality in 2015 that I finally found my calling. Now I seek to use UX design to make immersion technology more inclusive, empowering, and magical. Oh, 20 seconds. Cool, cool, cool. All right, let me try this one. It's kind of lame. So I could probably stick with this. Maybe the longer version can be a little bit longer, like a sentence longer. But I'm gonna try to. I want to put again all the most important stuff in the first 3 lines, 3.5 lines. All right. So that way, people see the most important things right there. So I need to list all these skills: communication, leadership, technical design, craftsmanship, in 3 lines. That's like one sentence, 2 sentences. Okay, I could do it in 3 sentences. So a sentence for each, right? Um, not even telling a story this time. Oof, how am I going to do that? The habit of iterating. Don't delete anything. You never know what you'll use later. So like I have a ton of like this old stuff here. I'm gonna show you this real quick because I like this, but I'm most definitely not gonna use it. But I think which one's better? About the same. Stick with this one for now. All right. So, once upon a time, there was a boy who dreamt to fly. Through science or magic, it mattered not, so long as he flew beyond the sky. He fought to invent this power through Lego and code and thought, but poverty was a bitter foe. It imposed a mental rot. Through naivete or courage, he knew not. This boy became a man impassioned. So here he stands, fueled by ambition, to design a world better, free from destitution. Right? Through naivety or courage you do not, this boy became a man fueled with ambition and passion to design a world free to dream and build, a world free from destitution. Yeah, I got that. Yeah, I like that, man. It's like got my whimsy in there. Got my love for poetry in there. Even though I haven't really done poems in a long time, I always be trying to rap, even though I can't rap. But I like poetry. Um, prose, I like prose a lot more, or at least I'm good. I think I'm good at prose. I would hope so. I think I'm good at prose, even though I might not probably be. Sorry, I'm going off the rails, y'all. But anyways, I wanted to show y'all that. I want to see if I can do something like this because I think this is really cool. But I don't know where I would put that. Anyways, okay, back to the matter at hand. So, 3 lines, 3 skills. Go. Third person is so ugly. I'm just doing it first. I am comfortable. I want to include this line. I really like this line, this first line right here. 5 years experience across multiple industries and functional areas. But then I don't like repeating words, so to say like cross-functional communication, ugh, all right. But again, I don't want to perfect it, right? It's not perfect. So, but but I think this includes both communication as well as a little bit of transferable skills. It's showing what I'm transferring right into the as a designer. Mm. My ears hurt. I keep thinking of like how to redo this because I'm already thinking about like rewording it as something like um have worked with comfortable I've communicated with team because I want to use the word communication because that's like a buzzword sort of. I want to have communicated with teams from engineering to sales, maybe even throw in the term transferable skills. Let me just write a brief aside for that. Yeah, just to get that out of my head. Okay, so cross-functional collaboration. I want to say recruited, trained. I don't want to really talk about that. More so, I have, I guess, led. One is basically to talk about how I'm comfortable with accepting responsibility for making design decisions, right? Um, just say it like that. Or not design decisions, but making decisions. Last one. I actually said that better somewhere else. Just how about how I learn technologies quickly. I listed out specific ones. So not only does that show that I can, learn a lot of design skills, it also shows that I can learn coding skills, which is pretty important as a designer. Tend to pick up and design concepts quickly, from the model view controller framework to software design, all the way to implement the atomic design using symbols, components on Sketch Figma. Yeah, well, this is a long-winded way of saying that, but I like this. I'm going to cut that down. And I like the way I put that because it, like I was pat my own back like that, sheesh. But it points out my design, like it kind of transfers over my experience in coding, learning coding into design, because a model view controller is pretty much like it's really, it's like software design, it's how you design your software. For those that don't know, since this is really long, I might as well talk about it. But model view controller is essentially a way for you to think about when you're coding something. You don't just start coding, right? You spend a lot of time figuring out what you're going to code and how are you going to code it. So I learned this at a Tech Town in the South in the code camp. You're learning Ruby on Rails. Ruby is a backend language, and for backend languages, but with Rails, it's kind of Rails is a framework that allows the backend to communicate with like the front end. So you can put the your Ruby, which is like your backend, it's like your database stuff, along with your JavaScript, which your HTML and JavaScript. So it allows you to create a full app, right? The front end and the back end. That's why Ruby on Rails. It was an attempt to make you into a full stack developer, right? So you can do front end, back end, and all that stuff. So a model view controller um, is a way to think about how to design your code. So before you even start design, you think about your model, which is um, essentially the back end, like the database, right? It's going to be the information that your entire site will be built around, right? And then your controller is the interaction, is how things are changed, how things are updated, how that data is pulled, is created, reversed, no, created, read, updated, deleted, right? CRUD. So that's your controllers, how the user interacts with that back end data, and then view is, what you actually see, what the user sees, how things are laid out on the actual page for them to interact with your app. So that's pretty much a design concept right there. And I like to put that down because it really shows that I'm transferring, my technical coding skills into a design framework, and vice versa. So I can talk to engineers from that perspective. I can understand, where they're coming from, and the type of considerations that they have, and help them to implement whatever design I have. So yeah, I want to include that, but that's too long, so I need to cut it down. Even though it's too long, it's probably going to cut off like right here, but I think that's pretty good. Well, it doesn't even mention I'm product designer, so that's probably not that good. I mean, if this is my elevator speech, right? And I do intend to use it primarily like word for word on LinkedIn, but I'm also going to be using it in other places. So that's why I do, yeah. If it's just going to be for LinkedIn, I wouldn't worry about it too much because I'm going to have a header right at the top. You have your header, your title, that where you put all your titles. So right now it just says some change it, excited to change the world, right? Some cheesy stuff. I'm so cheesy, sorry. But I can I was talking to my career coach and she was like, you want to put like the titles that you want to have. So UX designer, project designer, immersive experience designer, all that stuff. I want to put it up there. And then the about page, that's when I go into, what my skills are, how I can help and stuff like that. So yeah. So yeah, I think that's a good boring way of saying what I'm saying here. And a little bit more exciting because this is already long. So might as well complete this. You all in. If you listen this far, you all in. It might be 3 hours, but you all in. Okay. Um, I'm not gonna perfect it right now, but I want to, figure out a good little look about it. So I'm thinking it's really hard, man, because I really feel this thing up. I do realize that me putting this here and leaving off the software design part, uh, it's a little risky because people are gonna be like, "That's not a design concept. Like, what is that?" So people that know are gonna be like, "That's a software design concept. Like, that's software. Is that's like coding. That's not design. That's not UX design, right?" So they're gonna. I'm worried people are gonna see it as like a bad thing, like, "Oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just putting stuff up there." But I hope that people see it as a good thing, like, "Oh, it's a clever, it's a clever connection there. Like this is monitoring control is really a software design concept, and I'm using design kind of liberally here in terms of not just UX design, but like design in general, right? Like, um, so I'm hoping people will see it as a clever connection I'm making here, and not a he doesn't know what he's talking about thing here. But hey, I'm kind of willing to take that risk because I think it makes sense. Um, and people do ask me about it, and I can be like, I could show why I'm clever about it. Well, I think I'm clever about it at least. um, yeah, I think I'm willing to take that risk. Yeah. Now, if my instructor says, hey, this is a no go, I might have to reconsider. But so far, so good. Okay, so kind of make this more exciting, more of a story. Oof, I've been sitting too now, sitting down too long. This might be a little risky on here in this banister. Okay. I think that's a good way to start it either way, right? I'm wondering if I can bring some like once upon a time. I don't know. I'm not really seeing how that can work. These are very different kind of tones I'm giving here, so especially for LinkedIn, I might just stick with this. I mean, underneath, I can always like expand it because you can put like a lot of words in it in the LinkedIn one specifically. And like my coach says, my career coach, most people don't, or most people are not gonna hit the see more button. I can just put that there for whatever I want, like have fun with that. And then people do click see more, then they'll get a pleasant surprise. Like, oh, this dude is fun. Um, so I might just, keep this part kind of not dry, but kind of conservative, and then have my fun, underneath it. So that would tell more about my personal story. Yeah, 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 yeah. I think I like that. So that way it kind of rewards people for hitting that see more button. Um, yeah, yeah, I think that's a good way to go about it. So I'm going to keep this relatively conservative. So I guess I'll stick with this. But I do want to reword the cross-functional collaboration thing somehow, some way. Collaboration kind of entails communication, right? So the next part I'm thinking about, I'm saying in my head, it's kind of going to different things. Something like, I'm comfortable with getting stakeholder buy-in, but I want to turn it into a results-driven thing. Like, right, that's kind of like the best way to really show your worth, to show your value to a company is show what results you've given. So I showed here my experience, right? I showed that I didn't. This is one thing I'm kind of thinking this through this whole process is that since I didn't go to college, so I have to show my experience. Like, what do I have to show for it, right? That's what I'm establishing there. Like, I don't have 4 years of a college degree or 4 or 5 years of a college degree, but I do have 5 years of experience, working actual jobs, actual uh, corporations, and saying in this area like functional areas, that kind of shows that I've worked specifically with corporations, like with Fortune 500s and um, stuff like that, not just a mom and pop shop. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, like, technically the arcade is like a mom and pop shop. It shows that I'm comfortable in a corporate environment, right? I'm not just coming off of working, like not going to college and not having like deep industry experience. So because I haven't gone to college and because I don't have 5 years experience in graphic design or something like that, I want to turn the experience that I do have into a skill. So that's what I think I'm accomplishing there. And so for the next part, I want to show a results driven thing to say, hey, okay, this is my experience. This is what I've done, right? As a in that thing that this is the results I've given, and then wrap it up with this is what I want to do as a designer, or this is what I can do as a designer. So something results driven. I can bust out my resume actually. Let me look at my resume. Drive. Oh gosh, Apple's so annoying with this stuff. Don't look at my stuff. Sorry. Why can't I career stuff? Sheesh. Okay. I think I showed my resume before. I think now you guys are gonna see that I have like a million resumes. Oh, that's the old one. I have to find a better font because this one's a little bit too cloistered. But yeah, okay. Yeah, stuff like that, you know. 300 people, documents. See, what you would usually put in a results thing is like something like, you know, increased revenue by this amount, or, you know, decreased or increased effectiveness by this productivity effectiveness by this amount, or something like that. So because I have like a kind of scattered experience in like these different things, and I do have results driven things, but they're all in different ways. Like this one is more about like the amount of documents I created for. That's what I'm talking about in terms of the slide decks. Like I was communicating with CC people. Oh, maybe I can do it in that way. Like communicated with, you know, dozens of stakeholders to um, dozens of stakeholders across 3 organizations to, you know, increase productivity 50%. It's kind of a random number. I have increased productivity with the operations document. That was pretty cool. I did quantify it at one point. It's not on this one. It's on one of my other resumes when I was trying to, you know, go for operations type of thing. I forgot the exact amount, but it was close to 50. It might have even been 60 in some forms of ways, but I don't think I can really turn that into a design centered result. Man, this is hard. I'm gonna put it down for now. It's getting late anyways, so I really need to wrap this up. Two, now I need to bring it home with the result. Two, make good decisions. uh, two, I don't know. Just inform their decisions. What did I say before that? I have communicated with. So this becomes like another communication thing with a little bit of leadership in there, a little bit, not too much, not to, so I don't seem presumptuous, but I do. Hopefully, it shows that I'm comfortable with talking to stakeholders, to executives, and whatnot. Finally, it's not what I talked about, but I don't know. Just thought about doing something like that. I don't know. It's just on my mind. Get that out of my head. Okay. Should I just copy this over? I think that's good for now. I want to do something a little bit stronger here, though. Like, I'm comfortable with transferring multiple technical areas, something around like my ability to bring together those different technical skills that I have, like, you know, information security with coding together with design. I think I have a bit of a, like, I've studied engineering and all this stuff, I didn't go to school for it. Like, I think I have some ability. I don't know what the word is, if this is even a thing, but I feel like I have some type of ability to bring together, to just transfer skills from one technical subject to another. I don't know. I'll probably end it there because it's super late. I'm getting hungry. And I'm pretty sure nobody's watching this right now. I don't know if anybody ever watched this entire video. If you did, please comment below. I will be watching years down the line to see if anybody does, because this is hilarious. But yeah, I just ended there. Thanks for watching if you did. If anybody did. But yeah, it was cool. I like talking through my issues, stuff like that, uh, on these videos. It helps me to kind of get things out of my head because I tend to keep things in my head a lot. So using these strategies to get yourself out of your head is super useful. Before I used blogging, I used podcasting, and now I use videos. Um, Probably going to be a cycle where I go back to blogging and podcasting to get stuff out of my head. But I like this. I like this medium, and I hope it helps other people down the line. So, if you learned something, feel free to let me know what you did learn. If you let me know what you think about my elevator pitches and about my skills here. If you think these are valuable at all, and if you actually watched this and saw this part, wow, thank you, and have a good day. Let me know in the comments below. Once again, oh my sheesh, I really need to go. But battery's at 7%. But yeah, just reach out. I'll be happy to help, especially if you actually sat here and watched all this. I'll be happy to help. Just reach out to me. These comments below, or my email, or Twitter, or whatever. But yeah, have a good day. See ya. Bye bye.